Let me try. We're on.
We did it. Is this for real?
This is for real, for real.
All right.
Why do you keep fixing your turtleneck?
Why not? Why not fix it? That's the question.
You think the audience gives a shit?
Oh, they care. They care.
We'll see. We'll see, right? It's going to be the big deal of now we're kind of going into a brand new territory with this podcast.
This is something else. And I want to point out that our addict and counselor super fan, Alan, he wrote down every episode that we've done and he counted 38. So this is our 39th.
39. Wow.
I feel like I've never actually been 100% sure what number we are, but because of our super fan, he's able to tell us. This is episode number 39.
So Alan, thank you so much. Yeah. Obviously, Adam and I cannot count.
No.
So we rely on our audience.
I remember one episode I said like 32, and then the next episode you said like 36, and I'm like, how did it go up by 4? But I never said anything about it, just let it go.
You don't want to embarrass me?
Right. Me and numbers aren't really
something
to write about.
Yeah. Do you want to shout out our sponsor, Bubbly?
Excuse me?
You want to shout out our sponsor, Bubbly?
Yeah, shout out to Bubbly sparkling water. Right here, I'm drinking the strawberry flavor.
Turn a little more.
Delightful. It's very delightful. Would you let me finish the fucking the sponsorship ad? Gee, you asked me to do it, and you won't even let me get through the damn thing.
You're screwing it up. That's why they're gonna drop
strawberry flavor. It goes down very smooth. It's delectable. It's tasteful. It's everything that you would want a seltzer water to be. In Bubbly, you have it all in here. Highly recommend it. And with that, I'm done.
So yeah, we greatly appreciate Bubbly for supporting the podcast, which we're venturing off into new, video territory. And obviously,
other sponsorship. It's called Crave Vape. I'm just kidding.
Obviously, I couldn't afford the background without Bubbly's sponsorship. So greatly appreciate their product and their support of the show. So yeah, I mean, we've I think wasted enough time. I think, right?
Who's wasted time? This ain't wasted. Nothing we say is wasted time.
It's just all meat, no bread.
Everything we say and do means something.
What are you, a philosopher all of a sudden? Okay, Socrates.
No, I like Immanuel Kant.
Did you just curse at me?
I would never.
Did you just call me a cunt?
Hey, what are you doing? Immanuel Kant. K-A-N as in Nancy. Never heard of him?
Obviously, I'm not well read like you.
What was his thing? Make the best decision for the greater good was his main philosophy.
Why'd you wink? Did you just catch yourself winking? Who are you winking at? Me or you? Were you looking at yourself and you winked at yourself? You're completely off. You gave it swallow now because it's all there. Bubbly. Stay with me, Bubbly. Stay with me.
It came out. It's on the floor. I'm just going to continue.
Episode 1 video / episode 39.
You want me to show you the spill on the floor?
Off to a great start. I'm coughing. You're wearing a turtleneck. This is great. So don't. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Around with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've watched other video podcasts, but usually the camera doesn't move. Stay still.
Hey, now that we're doing this, do you think we'd be able to like take out of our podcast budget for like some really cool headphones and mic?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think we're solidly up to $14 over a year. So if you do the math, that's a solid dollar and change, literal pennies a month that
Okay.
we're accruing. So thank you for our audience. This is Adam's brain trust here, is that he pushed the agenda of going video because obviously him and I both have sex appeal to capture another audience that we haven't gotten to with just the audio version of the podcast. So welcome to the Addict and the Counselor podcast. You'll be able to stream this on our YouTube channel.
I believe so. I hope so.
Which is
How I envision this is we're gonna drop some YouTube shorts, some clips of you doing stupid shit, and then our fans will see that and like really just wanna, or I didn't mean it like that, but doing funny things, like you do. You say funny stuff sometimes.
are we
And they'll
now
like that on the YouTube clip on the shorts. Oh, what's this? Oh, recovery, addiction. This dude seems funny too and engaging. Talking about you, not me. And
you're
then
the engaging one?
and then they'll go further. They'll dive further into our podcast. So that's kind of the hope. The hope. That's what I'm. That's what I'm hoping for.
And the hook.
The hook is you.
I think the hook is you. I think we've established that.
I'm not gonna fight with you over this nonsense.
You take it too well. So yeah, so if this is your first episode, I mean, what an absolute treat. Wouldn't you say? If you stumbled upon the Addict and the Counselor podcast and you're watching us via video,
The first time.
Yeah. I mean, the poor suckers who've only had to listen to us, via audio, through other podcast platforms. I mean, what a shame for them. What a loss. But now it's a whole new territory. It's a whole new universe.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So, I guess introductions and kind of where to follow us. And so we do have a YouTube channel that is called the Addict and the Counselor Show, which will be streaming our now video podcast, and that will be able to link to our audio podcast platforms. And if you're listening to a podcast, you can find us on Spotify. And if you listen to us on Spotify, you can comment directly on the episode, but we're also on Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcast. We also have email, so the addict and the counselor at gmail.com, where you can comment, email us, let us know how we're doing, any subject matter that we want to kind of cover that is kind of out there, what people kind of experience. And I think if anyone has followed us along, you've kind of seen the maturation of the program. And I believe, we're here to kind of really cover some taboo subjects within the kind of addiction treatment recovery world. And we're also here to kind of inform in terms of what you, on both sides of the kind of, table, and now kind of, strictly on the other side in terms of receiving care and treatment, and me as a treatment provider, kind of what I've gone through and seen and kind of experienced that way. So ideally, hopefully this is kind of very informative, engaging, and also humorous. At the end of each show, we have a segment called the 5 Controversies, which of course with our new dollars, we've beefed up our transition music. And so I think that's going to be a huge delight for the audience. So really excited to kind of get to that piece.
Well,
and we end off on kind of left side.
Good feedback on the transition music.
Yeah, it's really coming along. I can say that the dollars are well spent.
Yep.
Money is well spent there. So
For sure.
yeah. So anything that I missed out on the introduction?
No, I think you nailed it per usual. I think so. The last time we did an episode, we were together. I was visiting you, correct? Is that true? Is that last time?
Didn't we do one after you left?
I think we took
No.
a break and then we extended the break. And we were trying, I think some of it was trying to figure this out too for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if that's the case, I mean, you came down to Jersey December like 14th week.
15th or so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we took a little hiatus, a little break, a little opportunity to kind of, decompress. It is a lot of effort. I mean, we invest, I mean, hours and hours and hours a week on developing the show. So hopefully it's really appreciated by our audience. So we wanted to kind of take a break, transition from, the intense holidays and the new year, and kind of kick off 2024 with a bang and bubbly and vape. You have an excellent diet, by the way. Sparkling water and vape.
It's what I live on.
Hence diet. Yeah, also, we might be not, probably not, right? I'm sure there's other podcasts that are video that a person vapes throughout the entire thing. But it's gotta be. We can't be the only one.
Got
That
it.
really was on
Yep,
there.
the first. You think I'm the first to do anything? Right?
No point.
I would love to be the first to do something. Like if you think of it, let me know, and I want to do that. Just so I can say, hey, I'm the first.
First.
Unfortunately, I'm probably like the millionth for this. Probably the bazillionth for this.
Yeah, we'll look for it. We'll get there. We'll find something that you're good at.
So what? So what do you want to dive into? I mean, we're past the holidays.
Yeah.
Big holidays. What we would call in recovery community the big three. A lot of people identify Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's as the three major holidays for people in recovery to get through.
Mm-hmm.
We've made it through the other side. I do have a close friend that I've been in contact with who had a slip up during the holiday, and that was fairly difficult for me to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I think in episodes past where I really kind of hyper focus, and even in my therapies, I really do focus on the intensity and the struggles of what the holidays can bring. Even now that I'm kind of leaning slightly more into the kind of the mental health world, I'm talking more with my depressed clients and anxious clients, traumatized clients, the holidays, because I think socially there's something there. Historically, for individuals, there's something there. Again, folks like me who are like Muslim or who are non-participants of like Christmas, there's something there. There's things that kind of bubbles up for me, growing up here in the United States and whatnot, and have kids who see Christmas lights everywhere and see gifts and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really important just to kind of just normalize, socialize kind of things. And I think in the mental health and addiction world, and I think it's important to kind of talk about, because it's there. It can be potentially really heavy for people,
Right.
how they kind of experience it.
Right.
I know you and I were chatting along the lines, and obviously you came and you visited me for that weekend, and then kind of the subsequent weekend was right into the swing of Christmas. But yeah, I think for me, I had the day off because Christmas Eve was on a Sunday, Christmas Day was on a Monday, so that Monday I was off. I actually had a pretty decent schedule that week post Christmas, which I think was fairly interesting. I have like newish clients, so I think just get the flow of stuff, but definitely did mindfully bring it up in each session, and really heard a lot of things. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of just get your feel on.
Yeah, for me, I'm thinking now, since you're talking about your schedule a little bit during the holiday season, I probably didn't prep the way that I could have prepped for my school vacation. You know, we had like 12 days off.
Yeah, yeah.
I probably
For
could
you.
have done better structure. It's something for me to definitely keep in mind in the future when I have like significant time off to really structure up my days,
Mm,
or
mm.
have that more at the forefront of my mind, which I really did actually. So
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, during the holidays, do you tend to to more meetings? I mean, what would you suggest for like someone maybe within the first 12 months of recovery? Is it go more meetings, stay the same?
yeah, I mean, I'm someone, and I've shared it on here, like my thoughts on early, like first year recovery. It's all about like I should be in a meeting just about every day. Like one a meeting a day. I should make that a priority for me. That's just like my first year in recovery belief system, I guess.
Mm, practice.
But during the holiday season, it doesn't. I tend to try to structure it up. Like I usually try to structure it up differently. Like maybe it's a meeting a day, but I'm doing like some extra like work on myself. It doesn't have to be like another meeting a day or something. It doesn't have to be like 2 meetings a day, although it could.
Yeah.
It might be, do some extra journaling or talk to an extra, another recovery friend that maybe I normally don't talk with, or like just do something
Mhm.
extra stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Um, I mean, how do you want to take this? Because obviously, like, Christmas and New Year's, I mean, it's only a week apart. And so you want to talk about New Year's, and then we'll get into, your friend's experience. Um, or do you want to talk about New Year's first and then kind of like wrap up the show regarding kind of, what went on with your friend?
Yeah. Yeah, no, let me touch on my friend that um they were clean for like similar time that I have, and um they like weren't really in contact with me in the same way that they
Mm,
usually are. So usually I'm hearing from this person like every other day or daily even, and all of a sudden like that tapered off for like a period of time, like over the holidays, I'd
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Um, and so, but the person like kept just enough contact for me to just believe that, okay, they're doing okay,
It's
like
the
they,
holidays, people are busy.
right, oh, they have a lot going on, and it's
Sure.
the whole blah blah blah. And yeah, I guess they went off, they had a relapse, and they they were what after when I spoke to my friend about it, he has a few days clean now. But when I spoke to my friend about it, was talking about, just he just kept on saying like wanted some type of escape from the distress, like the stress of life. And I was having like this conversation with them, and throughout the conversation, like what I was thinking of was like when I relapse, like there's some type of discomfort going on within me. I can't tolerate whatever the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like in that very moment, but like maybe it's accumulating or whatever. There's some type of discomfort or distress I'm going through that eventually leads to the relapse or whatever. So like I'm looking for escape from that. But and then I was thinking too, and I told this to my friend that, and then when I get back into recovery, I I'm like I in some way I want that stuff that causes that distress
Mm.
back into my life,
Mm,
right? So like
interesting.
yeah, so like the stuff that, think about all the things that cause us some sort of like stress, right? And some of it's just like regular stress, but some of it for some people it just causes more discomfort sometimes, right? And so like just think of like regular living, right? Everyday living. We have work, we have family, all this stuff, right?
Commute.
Right. And so then, we get some type of discomfort through like that stuff, living. um and then, we end up relapsing, and we come back and, hey, I want family back. I want the job and this and that. And that's all the stuff that that triggered the distress that I wasn't able to tolerate. I don't know. Is this making sense?
I mean, I'm seeing it in a sense of almost like this, like it's like a self-defeating purpose, but a comfort that kind of comes along with that kind of cycle of like low met with kind of a self-medicative behavior, and then clarity, and then that kind of rhythm of like, well, what's the level of like excitement or distress that I'm kind of experiencing, because there's that kind of low of
Yeah.
like absence of emotions, feelings, even kind of movement, if you will. So it's kind of like really like feeding on itself.
Yeah.
Uh, which, I mean, would you say in past experiences for you that would have maybe called on another use or another relapse, like kind of calling on that discomfort?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I think for most of us, but in my mind, I'm the king of unable to tolerate distress, right? And so any chance, or not any like at some point, I'm not doing something for recovery that leads me to not be able to tolerate the distress of living life. I don't know.
Okay. And knowing what you know with your experience, like what would you say is a kind of prevention plan kind of there? Because I think you and I have talked about that in terms of like seeing where potholes are in people's like early recovery, even long-term recovery.
Right. So what I asked my friend was, what did you learn anything, or has there been any insight
Hmm.
into a relapse? Like, was
Yeah.
there, I know from a lot of my past relapses, I'll take a look at it with somebody like a sponsor, a therapist, so on, couple, maybe some friends, and like, oh, like I really had trouble with this going on, or I wasn't doing that, and that's usually really helpful. And I fell back into doing this, and you know, I started acting out with this behavior. So like, there's like a variety of things that could contribute to it for me. And when I asked my friend that, he didn't. He has just a few days clean now, and he wasn't able to really give any insight into that yet. You
Yeah.
know, and I think like
It's
that
fair.
just that just comes in time.
Yeah.
You'll be journaling one day or talking with a friend one day, and you'll light dawns on Marblehead. Hey, this is what happened, or this is you
Mm-hmm.
know this is what might have happened to me last time when I relapsed or whatever. So I
Yeah.
think it's important. I think it's important to really reflect on relapses,
Oh, for sure.
but don't like, and I do this, unfortunately. I tend to sometimes I stuck in the relapse thinking,
The negativity, yeah, yeah, the down part of it all, yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I think well said. And as a therapist, I go into that place a lot, and I talk to a lot of people about you know uh the learning curve, like what can you pull from this that can really inform you moving forward, right? Is it's funny too, and reflecting back to my like true like substance use treatment days, even in the outpatient world, when we kind of bring up the subject of like relapse prevention. Oh, don't say relapse. I can't afford it, or I can't go back. We're like, no. The whole idea isn't to relapse, but
right,
obviously something is cycling through, even if it's once a year. That can we pull something from it? So in essence, you don't repeat the same mistakes. Let it be whatever kind of the rotation is. And I think
right,
for me and to the audience, what I would share is like really look at those like rhythms that you have built up in your life. And so, for some people, addiction looks like every single day. For some people, it looks like a weekend bender and then like cleaning themselves up for like Monday, like once. Or it's people who, like, again, during the holidays where, less eyes are on them because people are kind of going all over the place.
Right.
And is there an opportunity to just be like a level of like escapism and really kind of like work through that? So I'm really feeling that, like, being able to, what I use is like, can we look at your trauma? Can we look at your relapse in a kind of like investigator mentality? Let's just
Mm.
observe. Let's just kind of take notes of what kind of transpired and see if
Columbo,
anything comes up.
Columbo, in a
Yeah,
Columbo way. Do you remember
yeah,
we used to have one of our well, one of my mentors in the field. You know where I'm going with
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
During his motivational interviewing trainings, he would use the, like Columbo. Oh, one, you have another question, that type of thing.
Inquisitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
it's fascinating. I mean,
I thought it was because, like, I would always, whenever like, I knew he would be saying he would at some point he's going to bring
it's
up Columbo,
coming.
without fail. He's going to bring up Columbo.
No, no,
Anyway,
it really does work, and I think, as human beings, when we look at our own selves, really in a non-judgmental way, and you're almost like looking at your own life, through a kind of a third lens or a third eye, or from like an outside-in perspective, without kind of judgment or bias. I think that's where a lot of the kind of the education and self-growth, really comes from.
mm,
And even in therapy, like, a lot of my job is to help people get to that point, is to help them reach this idea of like, you don't have to always like look harshly upon yourself. Is there a way of like using this lens? And even as in my early trainings in grad school, like, that was really, I picked up on, or that's one thing that I honed in on, like, as a therapist, when you're doing talk therapy, to be present, but it's also being present of like who you are as a therapist in an interaction with another human being. So that
yeah,
third eye also keeps me really intense and really conscious of my presence and then what the other person is kind of doing, versus like I'm ignoring the third eye and I'm so here that everything else is kind of like, going through. So yeah, I would really encourage, the audience who's, watching this or listening to this, and if you have any part of your life you're like, oh, like, I haven't really gone there, look at it like as an investigator in a crime scene, if you will. You kind of walk into something, and all you're doing is just collecting information. Oh, I noticed that there. Oh, I see that there. Oh, how did that get there? No judgment, no bias. It's just sheer observation, and that can really be insightful to people.
yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry about your friend. I mean, that's a shame,
Yeah,
but the person, like you mentioned, is kind of, back on the sober train.
yeah, yeah,
So, bandwagon maybe of,
yeah.
of sobriety, and hopefully, he can kind of forgive himself and kind of really focus on, again, growth and opportunity and strength. And in my opinion, I think that's where the big difference for people who can sustain sobriety, versus not, is just, that notion of like, I can let go and really get stronger and,
Mm,
healthier in my journey of, sobriety, or what that kind of looks like for people.
right. Mm,
And alive, I mean, yeah, we can't do anything with dead people. So if this relapse
right.
didn't kill him, that's a huge step. And so, how are
Yep.
we embracing, this like,
I always say, as
releasing
long
it?
as you're breathing, you get a shot.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we've talked about the harm reduction model and how some people are really against that, and really, harsh, especially, even with addiction, which is very, very sad. But
Mm.
yeah. So, anything else? Any insights from your friend's experience that maybe you're learning from, or um, something that you can kind of share with the audience about, you know, how to
Yeah,
protect oneself? Again, holidays. Again, I think,
yeah,
bring another energy.
yeah. I mean, I think, like we already mentioned, like beef up some type of recovery stuff during the holidays for sure. And I think that for me, be careful not to stray away from support and connections that I have.
Mm.
Stay close with people, even in regular, everyday living, not just holiday season. Just continue to connect with people who are there to love you and build you up.
Hmm. Yeah. You said, stick closely with the people who are, you know, your champions and who are kind of, cheering you on and want to see
Right.
you do good. Yeah. 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 I mean, I think you and I maybe have said this at one point in treatment. Is it like, positivity breeds more positivity. So if you're around healthy people and kind of doing the right thing, you kind of tend to, follow along. And so you don't want to be alone during these intense periods, not with your own thoughts, especially I think if you're, early recovery and what that kind of means for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really kind of embrace maybe the discomfort and even acknowledge it, right? Is that, everyone, including me, you, get uncomfortable, but what do we do with it? How do we kind of, move through discomfort to kind of get to comfort? Really
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about New Year's? What like what's that do for you? Any New Year's resolutions? Which I mean, we need to get rid of that thing ASAP.
What's what's my resolution?
Do you
Why did
do resolutions?
No, I didn't. I usually don't. Like
Yeah,
I,
nonsense.
mm,
Too much
yeah,
pressure.
yeah. I mean, I don't think really too many people do that anymore. Like that, I know. They all
You're
kind
taking
of.
a poll.
Hmm?
You're taking a study on people.
Yeah, I mean, 39 out of 42 people haven't done resolutions. Of people that I've spoken with, that I've interviewed, 39 out of 42. I'm just fucking making that up, right?
That's a great sample size.
Yeah, 42. That's what I got. You work with what you got, right?
I was on the streets. Hey, you mind if I take?
Hey, resolution for you. Resolution for you. Resolution for you.
Like or dislike? Yeah, I was.
No, but I no, but I think it's with that being said, I think it's important that what I try to do is reflect on the previous year,
Mm.
how that went. Did I learn anything? What that was like for me this past year, and in some way, like look forward to the hopes of this year.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there is something sweet about New Year's and leaning into a brand new year in like a fresh start, different start, better start, whatever that kind of reflection is. I
Yeah.
mean, I think doing the same thing and maybe expecting a different, result.
Mm.
I think can really kind of set anyone kind of back. But yeah, I think there's something sweet about that idea. That New Year's can be something different if you kind of apply yourself. But yeah, I think for me, I probably haven't even emotionally or mentally expressed like, okay, this year this is what's kind of happen. I think for me in therapy or as a therapist, I really try to inform people of like, whenever the thought hits you, whatever it is, like if you wanted to work out or if you wanted to kind of eat right or drink more water or whatever the case is, like if you can't act upon that thought right away, right, strike by the iron's hot. And so
Right.
if you want to, work out and you have a gym membership, some gyms are open like late, just get up and go, like really hit it when it is,
Right.
versus, oh, I'm going to do it on a Monday or I'm going to do it, next
Strike,
week.
strike while the iron's hot, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, for sure. I mean, and like really, building on that kind of momentum, because especially I think we probably have noticed like as you age and as you get older, like
Hmm.
things. Yeah, you're old.
Older?
News
What?
Newsflash.
Hmm?
Well,
Hmm?
you're not 24 anymore.
What?
You're actually
There was, hey, Viz, I have some students that think like 35, which makes me
trying,
feel so good.
trying to flatter you. Come on.
And there was a student the other day that brought up like 1992. I forget why, but I forget. Yeah, I made some look or something, but it wasn't about like my age or anything. But that student took it as, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor, were you born in that year?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I wish I was born in '92."
You're
What the fuck?
Try 80s, buddy.
80,
Not me.
80,
You.
baby.
Um, no, yeah. So yeah, again, same thing. You know, New Year's can be like a really positive thing for people, or it can be very kind of intense. We talked about it off air, where again, a certain age of people, generally younger, but even kind of the older crowd, the 30s, 40s, 50s, where again, a lot of stress, a lot of build up. To party, to maybe drink more, or do something else a little more kind of freer or reckless, is there. And I think it's really an opportunity for people to self-reflect on their relationship with substances. And so why is New Year's calling on you? If you are a social drinker and you would drink 3 drinks, but come New Year's, you're gonna go double that. Like what's pushing you for that. And I'll share, and I think I told you, we got invited to like a friend of a friend's house right here in where I live. So I kid you not, it was probably less than half a mile car ride. And so we went there. There was other couples there. So it's kind of a coupley, dinner thing, and people got, semi dressed up, for it all. Good conversation, good food, but come like 11 o'clock, and I'm just no energy. Like I'm just low.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And everyone's like, oh, there's 30 minutes left, and there's 20 minutes left. And, everyone kind of like got up and did the countdown or whatever. And you kind of hugged everyone. And I was like, all right, time to go. Like, it's like 2 minutes.
1201. It's 1201.
It's too late. It's almost like we got out of that house as if it was on fire. It was just so fast. It's like, all right, show's over. Let's get the hell out of here and go home. And, get in our comfy beds. And so I reflected on that. And, I think New Year's is really meant for like a certain age range. And then after that, it just becomes a very exhausting night to even kind of catch, midnight. So I don't know. I would prefer to, be home, my own dwelling, just, I don't know, quieter, slower, more comfortable.
Yeah, I had I was at a friend's house for New Year's, and there was someone that was over that was drinking their wine, and they know that I'm in recovery or whatever. My friend whose place I was at, he's in recovery too. But she looked over at me and asked me if I mind if she drank, right? Because it wasn't a huge New Year's Eve bash, and she knew that I'm in recovery, so she asked. I'm like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'm like, alcohol is like my least favorite substance. If it was crack, on the other hand, she was like,
did you say that?
Mortified. Oh yeah, I barely know this person. He was mortified. But
way to make a first impression.
My friends that were there were like, yeah, he's not kidding. Oh man, love it.
It's funny because like a certain section of the population, right? You make crack jokes because it's people wouldn't know crack if it was like in front of them, right? But someone like you who's experienced with it all, there's some relationship there.
It's so funny and not funny. All wrapped up in one. Yeah, because people, even like, if you're safer with saying, yeah, if it was heroin, maybe like you're safer saying that than crack, because people look at crack as a dirtier drug than even fentanyl, or heroin, or whatever you're calling it. But we know it really doesn't matter. But
Yeah. No, I
it's
mean,
society's view.
yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
matter. Crack is a dirtier drug. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think a certain
I
association
will say
behavior.
though, in my experience, it does make you do dirtier things. So I can see, where that view comes from, I guess. But
Mhm.
whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also, I mean, we can kind of get into the physiology and breakdown of, certain substances of the brain. And so, like, yes,
Yeah.
kind of crack impacts, the dopamine part of the brain, but there is also like other features of the brain that it kind of really does impact, maybe kind of unlike, heroin or opioids or, whatever the case might be. So, which might
Yeah.
have you
Why do you think it takes me so long to crack a smile coming back from relapsing? It's all that my dopamine has been depleted from crack and meth use. And it literally, depending on the frequency and quantity of what I'm how I'm using, that plays a big role in me being able to even laugh at something, you know. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Fentanyl with opioid, it's different, right? Your dopamine isn't depleted in the same way as crack or meth. So,
Yeah, I think that there's some evidence about just the speed of like serotonin and dopamine being kind of rushed into the person's body and the
right,
the absorption of it, so
right.
um yeah, yeah. So yeah, another feature of it all that I think is, obviously, really important for, you know, factual like substance use education
Yeah,
versus, the dares and the say no to drugs
right.
stuff that
I think
um,
like like now that we're talking about it, I think for like our meth users and crack users and amphetamine users, I think it's important for if like they're in early recovery and they're feeling like that low mood like never before. Just I think it's important for them to recognize that it's physiological more than in early recovery. It's so physiological, and just like you literally just have to stick it out. You know,
uh,
kind of a
yeah.
waiting, game. I mean, sure, you can do things though that can help it too, right? Like speed up the process a little bit. Maybe drink, plenty of water, high doses of vitamin D. Um, what else?
Exercise.
Yeah. Um, yeah, all that great stuff.
Yeah, no, I think, I think people, again, even in early recovery, is that reflection of like an immediate response. So like, oh, everyone's telling me that recovery is so fun or joyous or whatever, and they're not necessarily feeling it intrinsically. And so they kind of judge themselves or question, like, am I doing it wrong? Or kind of like either what's wrong with me.
Right.
A lot of it goes into like how long you've been using without stopping, how much you were using it before stopping, and how
Yeah.
intense you were using before you're stopping. That even after periods of 100% abstinence, and there's some research to prove on the NIDA website, if you look at someone, I believe specifically with cocaine, but it's actually with all drugs, including cannabis, that from the period of stopping to when frontal lobe full functioning comes up, it's 6 months of continuous sobriety. That the frontal lobe, which is the emotional regulation part of the brain, and judgment and rationality, begin to make better neural connections in the brain. And this also speaks volumes about why people within 6 months relapse a little more often than people with 6 months plus, is because they're not connecting like better judgments, better
Not
insight
firing
into.
on all cylinders. They're not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
Literally. Yeah.
yeah, literally, it's a physiological, and that's why over the last like 15, 20-ish years, we're using the word as it's a brain disease, because when you look at the brain under the influence of substances, a lot of like dysregulation is happening, and connection is not happening. So I think for people in early recovery to understand, like, yes, it's a part of you and the recovery is a part of you, but understanding that your body has and your brain needs time for it to kind of like repair itself.
Yeah.
And I would say that was one of the best things that I saw at the first methadone clinic in our time at Danvers, where I got to see people like the detox part of it, where people are, I mean, I just remember, people like holding on to the wall to be able to like go down and like go to the cafeteria, which was like 30 feet away. And they were literally hanging on to the wall or hanging on other
Yeah.
people to do so. And then within like a 3, 4, 5 day turnaround, the person is independent, they're getting up, they're functioning a little bit. And so, the proper supervision, medication, vitamins, they are given in detox that really help people kind of recover, at a much quicker rate. And then obviously the idea is, how can you replicate that outside of the kind of the treatment setting? And that's kind of challenging. And I think, where the struggle comes from, but yeah.
Very good. I hope this convo was helpful for some people, and I think it was good conversation to have for sure. So thank you.
You're the co-host.
Thank you.
You should thank yourself.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. As I'm looking at myself, right? Thank you, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you are great, Adam. Adam, you are great. Adam, you are wonderful. Oh my
and
God.
now it's narcissism.
Adam, you are really something else. Adam, you are really something special.
I'm looking at you, looking at me.
Stop me.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I think we're excited. You talked this into existence. I would have probably kind of held off on it for quite some time. Is going into the video world of our podcast.
So when I visited, people should know this. I don't think we talked about it. When I visited you, it wasn't all for pleasure. It was a business trip too.
Yeah.
Right. This is where I brought it to. I had the conversation with you about it.
Mm-hmm. You can put your little mini trip as a tax deduction.
Okay. Thank you. I will do that.
$14 that's in the account for the podcast.
I'm writing it down right now.
Tax deduction. Yeah, so I mean, there are some people that they say, you have a face for radio, right? Which is not on video. And maybe some people will say that about us.
Oh my God.
You should have stayed behind with audio. Why would you put yourself on camera?
I don't know. People were recommending it, so maybe they just they were recommending it because they wanted us to make fools of ourselves.
I love how you refer to it as people.
A lot of people that I know were recommending, some of the best people, some of the most interesting people were recommending it.
All one of them.
I'm copying Trump. Did you pick that up?
No.
From all over, some of the most important people. You know how he does that sort of thing. People from all over were saying it. Bob Rose and Adam, they need to go on video.
Everyone's saying it.
So many people.
Everyone wants to see their faces. I mean, come on. Why are you hiding behind audio?
Stop hiding behind a microphone, damn it. Get out there.
Put the lights on. Shine. So yeah, I mean, again, I kind of say this with some regularity, but if this is your first show and you're watching this nonsense, I mean, good for you. I mean, there's a treasure trove of just audio podcasts. Oh, I wonder what their facial reactions would have been if this was on video. And now you got to kind of see it. And it's going to be our platform moving forward, being able to do, video podcast, put them on our YouTube channel, The Addict and the Counselor Show. And I think this is what the at symbol there at the Addict and the Counselor show on YouTube. Look out for some shorts with that. You can stream the channel, like it, follow it, all that stuff. Also, this still will be on podcast platforms, and so please listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music Podcast, and also Apple Podcast. Please email us at theaddictandthecounselor@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns, and or if there's a topic that you want us to cover. We absolutely want to kind of cover them for the greater good. The people. We want the people. I can see that you're looking at your phone, and so can the audience.
Really?
Are you serious?
Hey, I'm learning from my mistakes. The process. I didn't know that. I won't never do that again now.
Well, I have to look at my phone because we're opening it up to the segment of the show called Five Controversies. So, Adam, can you do the audience the pleasure of playing our high tech recorded transition music?
Sure can.
And like,
there it is. There it is, folks.
So yeah,
What we're doing.
That's where all our money goes. That's where
That's what we're doing.
Money goes with it. So this part of the show, as I mentioned earlier, is called the Five Controversies, where I'll be throwing out at least two options, sometimes three. Actually, the first one tonight, three options, which I know that you love. Really kind of perplexes you.
Nothing's better than the three options.
Yeah.
Not.
So yeah. So please play along if you're at home, if you're watching this. Play along, play with your friends, play with coworkers. I think it really sets up an awesome dynamic for people out there. All right. So in the kind of the air of the holidays, specifically in around Christmas here. So do you call it a Secret Santa, a Yankee swap, or a white elephant?
You understand that they're all different types of games, right? Like Secret Santa, you just find out who you get from picking a name out. Picking a name out, and you keep it secret that you have such and such person. You realize Yankee Candle is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole game.
The Yankee swap, not candle.
Crazy Yankee swap, whatever. You know what I meant. Yankee swap is a whole different thing, and then whatever the heck the third thing was,
white elephant.
I've never even heard of that. So I don't understand. I think we need to skip that one because it doesn't make sense at all.
No, it's a generally office-based holiday party. Which one do you prefer?
So I go to which one do I prefer? Which I didn't hear it correctly.
What a shock.
I think you said it wrong the first time.
No, I didn't.
I think you said it differently the first time.
No, I didn't. I said, which one do you prefer to
call it?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, see, you said it totally different. Now you're making shit up. So the one that I prefer that is the most fun out of the two that I know of, never played Elephant Man before. Whatever the heck you're calling it.
White elephant.
The preference would. I thought you were gonna just cut me off again, but you didn't. Okay. The preference would be Yankee swap. It has more fun to it. There's more gaming involved. Because you literally there's some times throughout where you get to steal a gift from someone else who really wants to keep their gift, and they're over there. Maybe they're hiding it, so it's not in view and that type of stuff. So I have more fun with it.
Yeah. So yeah, they're slightly different, but it's the kind of anonymity behind the kind of the gift exchanging kind of process. Whereas yes, Secret Santa is you generally have it with like one other coworker. They have your name, you have their name, but it's still kind of anonymous. And there's still an opportunity to be like, yeah, like I don't like my gift, and who, what does someone else have? So I played Secret Santa before. I think it's a little limiting. I recently heard the term white elephant, and I had to do some research. And if you Google white elephant, there is actually some history behind kind of where it all comes from. I think it's like East Asian practice, and it became kind of a thing. But I've always called it, Yankee swap, which is again whoever's kind of playing. You bring a gift either wrapped or in a bag, and then people pick numbers out of a hat, and whoever gets goes from one to whatever the case is. And then, as Adam described, you get to kind of take from someone else who has like a higher or a lower number, and it gets pretty competitive and interesting. And I've been in places where like people don't want to offend other people by taking their gifts, even though they truly want it. Which then you play this kind of mind game over like, do I take the gift from my boss who like has the opportunity to like promote me or fire me? I've been in places like that, so I think it's pretty interesting. So Yankee swap for me. If anyone's in the same workplace as I like to kind of play the Yankee swap game, during the holidays.
So we agree on that.
One for one. Next one, Christmas tree removal. How soon after Christmas do you take down your tree?
January 7th.
What?
That's the date, because that's the date that the three kings visited Jesus, and that triggers the day that it's all over.
According to what scripture? Because that it doesn't say that in.
Yeah, Christians just happen to know that. So I don't know. I've always been told that's why it's January 7th. That's why we do the January 7th.
Even tree removal is a religious connotation.
Yeah, it's got to be out. All Christmas like decor,
Mm, mm, mm. As someone who doesn't celebrate Christmas, and I've talked about this before I think on the podcast, we non-celebrators, I don't know, like me, very judgy. I'm very, very judgy on people's decor, their lights, their Christmas trees, where they have it, how much they have it, all that kind of stuff.
You think of my January 7th take?
No. I think that for me, Christmas seems like a big to-do, like a big thing that people kind of build up towards. If you think about like holiday shopping starts literally the day after Thanksgiving, for God's sake.
I send out my Merry Christmas November 1st, day after Halloween. That's when the season begins. We've had the conversation.
Yes, we have. So for me, it's like a big event thing, and that kind of quick turnaround. If I were to celebrate, I'm holding off that tree. If it was a real tree, maybe I think differently, because it starts definitely like decay and stuff. But if I had a fake tree, I'm keeping it up 30 days post Christmas Day. I want to really absorb all the energy and time it took to put this thing up, put all the stuff on it. It's still cold, so it's very kind of a coldy type of thing. I don't know. That's what I would say. So I would say after Christmas, January 25th or end of January, get it down and move on to the next celebration.
I'm not going to get into it too much more because we need to move on. But I do want to say, like, I'm not hard fast against getting the tree out of there on just January 7th. Like, if you want to keep it longer, that's good, and I appreciate that, and I love that for people. But if you do it before January 7th, I am very critical of that. It's the before January 7th that I don't like. The after, okay, I can deal with that. You like it, it looks nice, you want to take it in a little bit more, you want to enjoy it more. I'm more accepting of that. It's the before January 7th that really pisses me off.
But even me, I'm like, you did all that effort and the tree's out on the curb,
right,
like December 29th. Like, you sat with it, whatever. Anyways, we're going off on a tangent there. All right, the third controversy for tonight. Do you call it a pizza or a pie?
We've had this one. Have you looked in the archives?
Oh,
Have you checked the archives? We've done this one.
Can you just answer the question?
Pizza.
Okay.
I have called it pie before just to be like funny, okay? To make fun of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it's interesting. I think this is kind of geographical. Massachusetts, that geography, you would normally call it a pizza. Right. Down here, Jersey, that kind of pie. It's pie. People call it a pie. You call it, to the pizza store, and they're like, "How many pies do you want?" Oh, that you order 3 pies. So it's all kind of in the makeup of it. So I would say since my relocation to New Jersey, it's been pie, and I think there's a song, isn't there, about like pizza pie?
Yeah. When you're like pizza pie, that's amore.
Yes, there we go.
Dean Martin, baby.
All right. So controversy number 4: Tabasco versus sriracha sauce.
Sriracha.
Keep going.
I don't really use either much, but I find myself going towards that more so than Tabasco. I can't give you like a good reason or not.
So I think that the name sriracha and its kind of like increase has been really recent. I'm sure it has a longer history than kind of what I remember. Anywho, when it's like, oh, sriracha is such a good sauce. It's it has this like taste to it all. I tasted it. Not a fan. I prefer the original Tabasco hot sauce in the glass thing. And when someone says, "Oh," if I say, "Do you have Tabasco?" and someone says, "Oh, I have sriracha," they are not the same. They are not even on the same level of heat or even taste. So, socially, people, let's not put those two things in the same category. Tabasco is hot sauce. Sriracha is sauce that has a little bit of spice to it.
I don't really give a shit about this one, so thanks for sharing.
Well, the next one's
when you were just saying your reasoning and all that, all I heard was Charlie Brown. No idea. I'm like, when is he done yet?
So this next one is going to really blow your noodle, and I think people may see you like pop a blood vessel in your brain. Oh, so God. when you're casually talking to people, us for offline, or to your other friends, wink, you don't have friends, would you use the statement bro or bruh, BRUH?
Like I can't with this. So I mean, the bra it's something that like I make fun of, but I say it. Okay, all right, bra, all right, bra, and it's in a sarcastic, yeah, I'm fucking saying that to make fun of it sort of way, bro, that's what regular Adam Taylors say. Normal Adam Taylors. Bro.
What's up, bro? What are you doing, bro?
That's how I grew up. You say bro. The bra is more last 5 years or something.
True. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. I think my time on a college campus where the term bro is definitely used more like male on male. I think the term bruh, female started to kind of be able to use that towards males.
There's a feminine to it?
No, I'm just saying because the term bro is really identifying, I think, male to it. Bruh came to a thing where like more females were using it towards other females, but also towards males too. So it became like gender neutral kind of term. I think bra, like when you say bra at the end of the sentence, I think it is comical. Like bro, there's a certain seriousness to it. So like if I'm making fun of something, like I'm like accelerating, the sentence, I'm using bruh as a kind of punctuation almost.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right.
And I take back I was thinking the take back one. When I said the normal Adam Taylors, that doesn't even make any sense. So I don't know. I just want to take that back.
Well, our editor is on vacation, so probably not gonna take that out of the show.
So are you saying? So are you saying I'm fucked?
So that's gonna stay. That's okay. In there.
All right, I'll eat that one. I'll eat that up. I'll eat it up.
First video.
Take that one. I'll take it. Take it on the chin. Take it on the chin.
We're ebbing and flowing. We're feeling it out. We get better with time. It's going to evolve.
That's a phrase that will go. That's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, what?
Won't say it again.
We'll see about that. We have video and audio evidence at this point of if you will or will not repeat yourself.
I will not repeat it.
That's contract. That's legally binding with what you just said there. I'm gonna take you to court.
Clearly documented in video, audio,
judge,
everything.
He said on January, what day are we?
9th.
January 9th, he said he would never say it again, and I have evidence.
And here January 13th, saying it all over again, as if he never said it.
Literally 1 week from today.
And here he goes again, January 12th,
saying
normal
it.
Adam Stupidest phrase I ever made up. Never say it again.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. Yeah, so that's the end of the show, and this is our first, video transition from strictly the audio side, of which we had 38 episodes. Lucky number 39 is video. Thanks to this weirdo on screen, apparently dancing. Would you call that a dance? This is how you dance? This is how? All sad stuff. All sad stuff.
Yeah. We're hurting you.
So I'm glad. I'm glad others can see what I have to deal with 99% of the time, where the folks only get to hear it 1 hour, and now see it 1 hour a week. So they'll know. They'll pick up on it real quick. So thank you all for listening. Please follow the podcast. Please comment on the episode if you're listening in Spotify. Email us. We really want to be supportive. We want to be engaging with the people who listen to us. For us, addiction and recovery and mental health and treatment is very, very important. Where we're not just celebrating a National Recovery Month or Mental Health Awareness Month or a week. For us, it's important that we live it every single day, and this is a way of highlighting it, with the show every single week. So really appreciate the audience. Stay tuned for more exciting videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Bye.
Why are you waving? Why are you waving on video? Would you wave to me on audio?
Recording. Stop recording this madness.
Okay. Show is over.